was born and raised in Hood River, Oregon, and we worked for a farm company where we actually moved in between 4 different cities throughout the year following the picking season. I would have to go in with my parents. We didn't have a babysitter, so we'd have to wake up with my parents and have to go to orchards with them. And I remember specifically my mom, at the time we were picking pears, and I remember my mom would take us to work at 4 in the morning, and she would, these picking bins would be set out across the orchard, and she would knock down a bin about halfway through the orchard line itself, and she would place a blanket, and I would sleep there until it was about 8 a.m. and then they got to that line and I would wake up. I have an immense appreciation for my upbringing of agricultural work, because I think it definitely taught me a lot of valuable lessons that maybe not other students have experienced. Growing up, college was not really in my line of view, simply because, none of my siblings, none of my parents, no one in my immediate family had attended college before, so it just seemed like a faraway thought. But I think early on, my parents really ingrained the idea of the importance of education. So I think that kind of elevated me and always pushed me to reach for something kind of greater than they achieved. I first grew interested in engineering through the robotics program. There was a robotics program in my high school, and going in, I didn't know I wanted to be an engineer. I had different thoughts. I didn't know what I actually wanted to do. But I think going in and kind of viewing the inner mechanics and viewing how different mechanisms work together to form one bigger mechanism, it just clicked. It interested me. It brought me excitement. And I think also just knowing that if you look around in the world every day, there's almost an engineering solution to everything. I appreciate the class size in YVC. I feel like you get a lot more one-on-one time with your instructor, and it's a lot more personalized opposed to other institutions where you're almost just like a small blip in a big classroom. So I serve as the vice president for the engineering club. We try to do a lot of outreach, and we've been working on volunteering within our community. So just recently we had the STEM day here at YVC, and I think that was a very big kind of community outreach, because we get to, I think there was about 500 elementary students that ended up coming to YVC, and I think that was really interesting because you're inspiring the next generation of STEM students, and I think that's just really amazing, because I think growing up, even in my own eyes, I think having the ability to visit something like a YVC STEM day, I think that would have been fantastic, and it would have just jump-started my career within engineering, and I would have realized early on that, hey, this is maybe something that I'm really interested in, and it just kind of gets that exposure starting young.